What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Structure. I'm your host, H. This is my co host,
What up?
E.
What up?
And today we're talking about the Wheel of Time, episode one. We're going to have a great discussion today.
That's right. This show came recommended by some of our viewers. Leslie, I'm looking at
Yep.
you. We haven't read the books. Quick disclosure: we're coming from a fan's perspective here. We love this show and we review the shows that we like. If this is your first time viewing, make sure you like and subscribe. H, let's get into it.
Let's go. Today we're going to talk about episode 4 of The Wheel of Time. But before we do, let's recap the story so far. On episode 1, we have an introduction of the story and the conflict. We see that we have the heroes living in a village. We see a person of interest, a mage of sword, person of power
Yeah,
that comes into this village looking for the one, the proverbial the one, the chosen one that's gonna save the world. We also see an army of beasts named Trollocs controlled by the eyeless
scary looking
coming to
things.
town.
Seriously,
They kind of look like Man Bear Pig in a way from South Park. If you
it's
guys seen
crazy.
South Park, you know what I'm talking about. If not, Google it. Anyway, we see that they come into town, they decimate everything in sight, and our heroes escape, but not unscathed.
hmm
On episode 2, our heroes reach a cursed city where the Trollocs will not invade it. They kind of back off because of it. And in this city, because of some events that takes place in it, they end up getting separated and paired with each other.
Yeah, and the reason why they get separated is because just like a little kid, Matt was told not to touch anything, and then he touches like the worst thing you could touch in the entire city,
Cursed
which
knife
yeah, a
or
cursed
dagger.
knife. Yeah, like don't touch it, and all hell breaks loose. It's complete madness from there. Go on, H.
Yeah, then we see on episode 3, we see that each of our heroes are paired together and they're on a journey to reach the White Tower where everything's supposed to be sorted out. This is where the Aes Sedai reside and where things are gonna kind of kick off. Or I presume this is gonna be where our season's gonna end when they reach the White Tower. This brings us to episode 4 where we are introduced to
Yeah.
a new character named the Dragon. And
Hey, who is the dragon? The so far the dragon is this guy who thinks that he has the anointed power to bind the world together, and you see that he walks throughout the entire episode like that. However, he is not. He is a
he's
false
a
dragon.
false prophet. Yeah, the dragon in mythology for this world is this person that is supposed to save the world or destroy the world in a way because it could go either way. You don't
Yeah,
have to use the power one way from what we can see on this episode. And the Aes Sedai, I guess, are tasked to find this person to protect everyone from the Dark One.
exactly. And this guy it seems like he has a dark power where uh, it was told that the anointed one will have a blinding bright light, a
Yep.
blinding bright light of power, and we see that, and we won't skip that and we jump ahead, but we see that in episode 4.
You know, this is the episode that really hooked me, hooked us in,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We were watching, and actually, episode 3 was really good too. But go ahead.
For me, episode 4 was that data, and those first 5 minutes really got me. There was a lot of intrigue behind this character because so far we've seen the Aes Sedai
hmm
being introduced, and now we see that at first I believe only women could hold this power, right? And now we see that men are able to wield this power, and we see that this guy is extremely strong, so strong that it takes multiple Aes Sedai to kind of hold him, not even stop him, just hold him down.
it's very interesting to see how the Aes Sedai and the Warders work together hand in hand. They have a very tight relationship, which is unlike any other bond that we know for humans, either through marriage or through regular friendship. They actually share emotions. They follow each other. They're travel companions and everything. They do virtually everything together.
Those are the warders, yeah, for
Yes.
sure. The warders are gonna be like the companion of the Aes Sedai. They're protectors, and they feel everything that the Aes Sedai is going through, emotions, pain, and we even see how they act when loss happen. When we see that one of the Aes Sedai, the one leading that particular camp,
Yeah.
it is murder or
He was so enraged that he had to avenge the death of his Aes Sedai. That's how close their bond is. So this is the first episode. Like we saw one one situation of it so far, but this is the first episode where we see the entire community and how they get along. So it's sort of painting a picture, I think, for later on down the road. I think this is a part of some of the important parts of the story.
It was very. I was very curious because at first I thought are they lovers? Are they allowed to date outside? So
Yeah.
I'm very interested to learn more about what the relationships between the Aes Sedai and the Warder. And we see that, for example, just to call back to episode one, we
Hmm.
see that the land the Warder assigned uh, to the main Aes Sedai Maureen. He's protecting her while she's casting a spell to defend the town from
Yeah,
the Trollocs.
that relationship they worked hand in hand. So apparently it takes a while for the spell to kick in.
For them to be able to draw or channel, because they're channelers, right? To
Yes,
channel the power from the one power, which is the source of all of
exactly.
it.
Yeah. So while they're channeling the power, the wards actually do the physical fighting, and the Aes Sedai have much greater power and are able to affect a larger population, a larger group, and that's what we saw in the what was it, the first episode with Maureen, where she was fighting off the Trollops uh, almost by herself.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
The type of magic they use, although they're channeling from the one's power, it's all based on nature. So we see that it's either wind or fire. I wonder what else we're gonna see in the show. I'm very interested to finding out more. There's a
Who's
lot
got
of
water?
lore to cover,
Who's got
and
water?
hopefully, we think we're thinking about doing an episode about the lore of the show so far,
Uh huh.
because this is a very long series. We know it's over 14 books, and some prequels as well. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but we want to focus on what's been shown in the show so far. So we'll probably do something about that, like a nice little episode about it. But yeah, we see that there is the relationship between these two is very curious. I am very heavily interested in it, and we see that also that land, in a way, has a bit of a, how do you say, interest in another character in the show. We'll talk about that a little later down in this episode. Now, our here that we also have a very big focus in this episode about our heroes, what our heroes are, what is their journey, how is it going. So the episode shows the situation between where Matt and
And
Rand are with the new traveler companion that they have in the name of Tom. Can you talk a little more about that?
so with Tom, Tom is a gleamer, which I imagine is an old folk singer. And the thing about the old folk singer is that they keep history within those folk songs. So you can draw on power and basically have prior knowledge by holding history. And what he says was he experienced seeing the darkness that one of the other characters, actually Rand, had was experiencing at that time, and he wanted to warn his friend that darkness was beginning to take him over, and it will change his entire life. His nephew was affected by it, and his nephew unfortunately perished because of it. So he wants to help them out and guide them the right way. But as we see in episode 4, it seems like it's almost too late. His friend. Unfortunately took advantage of the hospitality of these settlers, and it was basically a mass. I don't know what to say. It got ugly.
It very very ugly.
Yeah.
But Tom is a very interesting character. There's a lot. There's gonna be a lot of backstory to it because we see that he has to be more than just a wanderer. There's gotta be some kind of. I feel like he's gotta be connected to something bigger because if his nephew was right that was
Yeah.
corrupted and he
Yeah.
was also removed from the power, and we saw that he because he was removed from the power, he
He
off himself,
yeah,
right?
he basically saw no reason to go on, and he
Yeah.
he ended it. He ended
He
it.
ended things. And so there's got to be more to the story. He's also a very able fighter. He reminded me the way he fought against the Fade that we saw in the episode, almost as good as a warder. So is there a connection with him and those?
I didn't think anybody could last that long on with against a fade. And here's a real quick question: put down in the comments whether you think Tom is still alive. Did he win against the fade, or is he done?
I think he has to have. I mean, I hope he is. I like his character. There's a lot of mystery to him. He seems to know a lot about what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me for sure. So I want to see
He'll
more
be
about that.
very useful going down the line.
Now we see that Rand, Tom, and Matt reach this little farm. I think it was a
That's
farm,
right.
right? And they end up staying in the barn. We see that there is a connection between Matt and the little girl of the farm.
Yeah.
Reminds him of his sister. He's longing from home. He's homesick. He keeps saying he wants to go back home, right?
Uh
Through
huh.
the whole episode, and then we see that dagger actually turns into something that corrupts him, and he commits the ultimate evil in regards to this particular family, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was the ultimate evil that he was compelled to do because of the darkness. The darkness, unfortunately, made him do it, and he was in a trance, which only left him once he left the building.
Like a zombie, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And at that point, he realized what he had did to the girl, and what we saw at that point was there was a doll on the ground. It was a doll of the girl that she had given to him for protection, but she didn't know that she had to be protected from him.
I have to say, I really enjoy that scene because he wakes up from this trance, from this zombie mode that he was on, right?
Yeah.
And when he wakes up, he looks around. He sees the people that have given them a roof to sleep, right? That
Yes.
have been so kind to them,
They
slaughtered.
were going to kill him at first. It would have
He
been it.
walks outside. He looks at the young girl that reminded him of his sisters, right?
Uh huh.
And we, as they leave, all we see is that doll that was given to him for protection. This is how is this going to affect him going on the show, right? This takes us to our next set, which is going to be Egwene and Pierin. So we see that Egwene, who's it at the beginning of the show, it seems to be the love interest of Rand Altor, right?
Exactly.
And Pierin, who by accident, ended up hurting the one that he loves, right?
Yeah.
So Pierin is also injured, and he seems to be, in my opinion, I think he's gonna turn into some kind of werewolf.
What's up with the wolves following him? There's definitely a story behind that. They had multiple opportunities to attack him, and they didn't. And as they said, they seem to be leading him. So maybe he has some type of connection. Maybe he turns into a werewolf. That'll get
I
interesting.
don't know if I missed something. I rewatched episode one when the Trollocs attacked the town, right?
Yeah,
And I know he has an injury, but
and
because
maybe
he's injured by the Trollocs, is that gonna make him a wolf, or did I miss something? Did a wolf actually bite him, and he's gonna become this kind of werewolf, or
or
because
maybe he turns into a trollop.
the wolves are not attacking him; they're following him, and they can't. There was a scene that they seem like they accepted him in a way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Then we also have Egwene, and at some points I felt like they were a little too close. So like, are they gonna become a love interest, right?
It's
It was
funny
weird.
because I watched it a few times and I just get so entranced in the video and I'm like, oh, those are the love interests. Like, no, they're not. She has the other guy,
Rand, yeah.
Rand, on the other side. So it's very interesting
and,
that
and
dynamic.
and then we introduce another guy when they're in this settlement with these gypsy people in a way, right?
Yes.
These wanderers, and this another guy is taking a lot of interest in Egwene, right?
Yeah, a
And
Ram, I believe his name is.
yeah, and now we have her in some kind of flirtatious, I don't
Yeah,
know,
love
flirtatious
triangle basically. Well,
love.
she may have her heart may be for Rand possibly, but she
I think
this
they give
guy
a
she finds attractive in some form of fashion,
they,
entertaining at the very least.
now, but Egwene is the one character that so far they shown, at least until this episode, that has some potential for power because she's one of the supposedly chosen ones who could be the dragon, right?
Yes.
Because we have Rand, we have Matt, we have Perrin, we have Egwene as well
Hmm.
as someone who could be the dragon. I think there's a fifth person. It escapes me. I don't know who that may be. I can't
It's
remember. I'll have to look back into it.
Mira.
I think it could be Mera. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it could be Mera, right? So we see that their story, their arc in this particular episode was the least interesting part for me. At least I didn't really get too much from that.
And I think they were laying the groundwork for that. Yeah, there wasn't too much action, especially compared to the other scenes in the episode. But I think that they were laying the groundwork because I think they're going to take a different direction where they're with some folks that are likened to, I don't know, old time hippies or gypsies
Yeah,
possibly
just one
that
people.
believe in peace over violence. Even if they're confronted with violence, they choose peace, and they're showing their way of life to them, which I think if they stick around long enough, and I'm talking about Egwene and Perrin, if they stick around long enough, they will absorb some of that way of life. It'll rub off on them, and it's interesting in this type of battle. How will that affect them going forward?
Yeah, and this takes us to the next set of heroes that we have, and that's gonna be with Lamb Mandragora, Mera, as well,
Uh huh.
and then we have Moraine,
Moraine, exactly.
Moraine Sedai, right?
Yep.
And we see that they reach a camp where they join other Aes Sedai who have captured this quote unquote dragon guy, right?
Yeah.
The guy claims to be the dragon, and it takes two of them at a time to be able to to shield him and hold his power down. That's how strong this guy is, right?
Yeah. And he does, like they say, he doesn't even break a sweat. He's sitting there. It seems like he's meditating, basically, and they are trying to hold him down with their two powers, two at a time. We see some conflict later on. In
Between the Aes Sedai, yeah, there's like some kind of animosity between the different ranks.
Yes,
We also learned there's different types of Aes Sedai, the blue, the red, the green. I want to know more about that. How about we get to explore that as the show goes on? I'm sure we will. And
it,
then we have Land. Sorry, to interrupt. My
no, go
apologies.
ahead, go ahead.
Then we have the one another
It's
very
Landarin.
interesting point.
Landarin.
Land and Mira.
Oh, Land and
Mira
Mirror.
takes a
Okay.
very much an interest in Land, even asking like, what is the connection like, or what's your connection with Moraine, right?
Yeah.
And he seems to reciprocate into that relationship. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so. Just getting back to the Aes Sedai, like you said, there is a conflict, and we do see that Landrin, she wants to kill this fake prophet
She
immediately.
wants to kill him, but she's ordered by a higher, I guess, a higher rank or whoever's leading that particular camp,
Exactly.
Aes Sedai, to not do so. That
And sh
they as they always have, they have to do it at the White Tower, and then let the council that they have there decide
exactly.
what the fate should be. But I'll be honest, I'll go into the whole episode like this guy is very strong. You think you're gonna be able to take that guy from point A to point B? I don't think so. And
No.
as we saw in the episode, it wasn't gonna happen. It just
Yeah.
wasn't gonna happen.
But apparently, like they said, what we see is that they have laws, they have a system, and they abide by it no matter what, and or at least try to abide by it no matter what. So at least we see that they have some type of established laws and systems going
Yeah, they
forward.
do.
Yeah.
Like they did mention before that they are ruled by the three oaths, and I'm gonna just go over those real quickly here with you guys. So the three oaths are to speak no word that is not true, to
Yes.
make no weapon with which one man may kill another, and never to use the one power as a weapon except against dark fiends, shadow spawn, or in the last string defense of her life, the life of a warder or another eyes to die.
Yeah.
So we see that they have very strict rules that they do not that they have to follow, but we also see that they're able to play on the edges around it,
Exactly.
and kind of make it fit, especially when they reach those people in white, and I forgot what their name was. They seem to be hunting Aes Sedai. We see all the different rings. These this antagonist,
The
as we
white
call them.
coats, the white coats, I
Yes,
believe.
and they barely luckily escape, and were able to reach the camp by escaping them. Right
Yes.
now, then this takes us to Mera. Mera is a healer, right? So far, and she's definitely surprised us in this episode, being probably one of the strongest characters we've seen so far.
Yeah, she has unbelievable power. We saw that from the first episode. And we see in the fourth episode that she has power comparable to some of the most powerful Aes Sedai in that camp. So that it gives you an idea of where she's at
She could be the
in the
dragon.
rankings. Yeah,
They basically left us at the well. It's pretty much a short thing that Mera is a dragon or the dragon because we have Egwene showing signs of power, very
yeah.
talents, right? We see that now Mera
Mira
is
becomes,
very strong. She was able to stop everything for
yeah,
a
she
whole
becomes enraged at the death.
land, especially her her assumed by us love interest, right?
Good point. Yeah, exactly. It was. I was going to say that because everybody was dead, but no, it actually was Lan. That's the reason why she became really upset.
She wasn't just able to stop everything. She was able to stop everything, right? Healed everybody. This is how strong she is. So to me, like even surpassed the dragon, and or the so-called dragon, allowing him to be vulnerable, to be removed from the one source. So I wonder if this guy is gonna continue forward as a character
And
with no power, right?
the false dragon was impressed by her power too.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was like, okay, maybe I'm not the dragon.
he might be a wyvern or something.
Yeah,
But really, we saw a lot of really interesting things, and this is the episode that really got us hooked into the show. And I can't wait for next week episode. You know, this show plays every Friday on Amazon Prime.
that's right. And listen, like H said, we love this show. This thing is action packed, and also I love the plot lines. I think H appreciates them as well. And we will be here
Yeah, we'll be
every
discussing
Friday.
the show every Friday.
Yeah,
Let us know what was your favorite part of the show so far. Be on the lookout. We're gonna be making a little video about the lore of the show so far.
yeah. Make sure you like and subscribe. Stick here because we'll be bringing more information about the show going forward. But until the next episode, I'm E, and this is H.
We're in structure.
That's right.